Good morning. Joining us now, Representative Jim Jordan, co-founder of the House Freedom Caucus. Sir, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be with you guys.
The offer that the president made this weekend to the Democrats to end this shutdown, Nancy Pelosi dismissed it right out of hand. But are you talking to your Democrat colleagues behind the scenes?
Well, we've been talking with all kinds of folks, and while this, the speaker dismissed it out of hand, I think there are probably several members of her conference who are starting to wonder, hey, when are we actually going to negotiate with the president? You know, there are a number of Democrats who won very close races in formerly Republican-held seats, and I think they're probably hearing from their constituents. We've actually had one freshman who talked about, yes, she would support wall for or money for a barrier. Katie Hill from the Los Angeles area. So I think that's the pressure that eventually I think is going to begin to Nancy Pelosi is going to begin to feel. But yeah, they dismiss it right out of hand because they're much more focused, at least their leadership on the other side is much more focused on stopping the president than they are on helping the country.
Now, given that Democrats control the House now, is there any way for you to get legislation to the floor if you were to break off enough rank-and-file Democrats to support it, or does it all require Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah, there's one route that's pretty difficult, rarely used, although we did see it last Congress, and that's what's called a discharge petition. So we could introduce a bill where we would focus on the wall funding, focus on the kind of thing that we think the American people elected us Republicans to do. And then once you start getting some of these Democrats to sign on to that, you got to get 218. You got to get a majority of the House. Then that bill would be brought up. But there's certain time constraints and ways you have to do this. But that is one route. It's difficult, but it's something we could do if this thing continues to lag on.
And are the Republicans still standing strong? Have any Republicans started to break ranks on this?
No, Republicans are strong. Because, look, this is common sense. You don't have to be a genius to figure out this whole caravan phenomena over the last several months, and another one is forming and moving towards the border as we speak. The only way to deal with this is with a border security wall and to begin to make the changes we need to make in our asylum law. That's the only solution. So that's why we're pushing so hard to get that kind of solution, and that's why the president has stood so firmly and even compromised and offered the solution he offered over the weekend. But it's just something that has to be done if you're actually going to solve the problem.
I wanted to talk to you also about something that happened last week. Did not get a lot of play in the media because it's just been so crazy. But Bruce Orr's testimony where he alleges, or he said, that he let the higher-ups in the DOJ and the FBI know that that dossier was connected to Clinton and might be biased. Is there going to be some kind of investigation into who knew what?
Well, the Democrats aren't going to, but we continue on the Republican side to push to get the facts out. And get all the answers for the American people. You're exactly right. If you get a chance to read Tim Strassel's column in the Journal last week, it nailed it. But here's what happened. Bruce Orr told him. He told him everything before they took the dossier to the secret court, the FISA court, to get the warrant to go spy on the Trump campaign. So he told him a couple key facts. One, Fusion GPS, Glenn Simpson are connected to the Clinton campaign. 2, his wife works for Fusion. And 3, the other person Fusion hired, Christopher Steele, the foreigner who put the dossier together, he's got an incredible bias against the president, so much so that he said he was desperate to stop Trump. Those facts the FBI knew, the top people at the Justice Department knew before the election, more importantly, before the October 21st date when they took the application to the FISA court and portrayed the dossier as something essential to get that warrant. So that, to me, is huge. And also it contradicts what now Chairman Schiff of the Intelligence Committee had said. He said in his memo last year that, the FBI, the top people at the Justice Department didn't know about Bruce Orr and those key facts that I just said prior to the election and prior to the FISA application. Just not true. Just not true.
So what should Congressman Schiff do here? Because it sounds like he's lying. Is he lying, and should he be out front correcting the record here?
I don't know if he's lying because he hadn't, but what I know is what was in the memo was not accurate.
Yeah.
What was in the memo said that the top people at the FBI didn't know. What we know, based on the deposition we had with Bruce Orr, is he told them, because he told us under oath in his deposition that he told them those 3 key facts. Fusion is connected to the Clintons. Fusion has hired his wife, and Fusion is also the entity that hired Christopher Steele, and Christopher Steele had this deep bias against the president.
So if they misrepresented this in front of a FISA judge 4 times, where are the judges on this? Why are they not calling for some kind of investigation?
Good question, Mary. I don't know. One of the other facts they tried to hide from us last year, we discovered this in the course of our investigation, is the fact that Peter Strzok, key player in this whole thing, former head, the relation was a friend with one of the FISA judges. They tried to hide that fact from us. So I don't know how the judges feel. My guess is not real good, based on the fact that they weren't given the full truth and the full story when the applications were brought in front of them.
Now, what's your relationship at the House Intelligence Committee like with the Senate Intelligence Committee? What is that in terms of just giving them information? Because Republicans are in control there, and they can do more on that side.
Yeah. Well, we're going to work closely with Senator Graham, who is now the new chair of the Judiciary Committee. We worked with, over the course of last Congress, I thought Senator Grassley did a great job as chair of the Judiciary Committee. We want to continue a good working relationship with Senator Graham, and we expect that. I talked with Lindsay last week on the phone about some of these issues. So we'll continue that kind of relationship.
Yep.
And then, of course, work closely with Devin Nunes, former chair of the House Intelligence Committee.
Now, there was a moment last year in September where the president had ordered the feds to declassify all of these FISA documents. And then all of a sudden everything was put on hold because of the concerns of Great Britain, Australia. We've heard about those things.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the status of any of that, and how interesting or revelatory will those documents be when they're finally made public?
Don't know, haven't seen them, but we think they're going to be very interesting and very revealing. If you remember, we had called for this to be released in September of last year. The following week, the president initially said that he was going to do just that, and then later in that week decided to hold for some length of time, and we're still in that pattern. So we will see. That's obviously the president's call, but we think all this information needs to get out to journalists like you and get out to the American people, and the American people can know exactly what happened, because never forget the basics here. The top people at the FBI, Comey, McCabe, Baker, the chief counsel, Lisa Page, and Peter Strzok, all five of those key people, the top people, have either been fired or demoted and then left the FBI, all five of them. And then never forget the dossier. The dossier is critical and key to all this. The Clinton campaign paid Perkins Coie law firm, who hired Fusion GPS, who went and hired the foreigner Christopher Steele, who talked to Russians, even though he never went to Russia, who talked to some Russians, put together this National Enquirer garbage thing called the dossier, which became the basis for going to the FISA court to get a warrant to go spy on the other campaign, the Trump campaign, as wrong as it gets.
You know, what a day to talk about this, too, because remember all of the outrage throughout the years that the FBI spied on Martin Luther King. And here we are talking about today that the FBI and at its upper echelons created a basis and a rationale to spy on an opposing political party. Boy, do we have some problems to fix.
Yeah, no, it's as wrong as it gets. And don't forget also what happened over the weekend. The special counsel did something I've never seen before, where they went public and said the BuzzFeed story about Cohen was not accurate. When have we ever seen that? So we've never seen the top five people at any agency where they've been fired or demoted and then had to resign. We've never seen that happen before. We've never seen a special counsel come forward and say a media report that the whole mainstream press was running with is not accurate. We've seen all kinds of things that we've never thought we would see in this country, all because they took this dossier that was not proven, was salacious and unverified, according to James Comey, and used it as a basis to go after the other campaign.
And we're still living with all the divisions it created. Congressman Jim Jordan, thank you. We'll have you back soon.
Great. Thank you, guys.